if you are 60 or older. This is the #1 sleeping position to prevent heart attack and stroke, and it's very likely that you've been doing this your whole life without even knowing it. So let's dive in. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever experienced waking up and feeling like you have to pee right away? For some people, this can be so urgent that if you wait just a few minutes, you may have an accident. It's almost like your bladder is being overreactive. Well, guess what? That is the #1 sign of a weak pelvic floor. And if you have a weak pelvic floor, it doesn't matter how healthy you are, how fit you are, how well you exercise, you are at high risk for having a prolapsed heart valve. Now you might say, "Doc, that makes no sense. What does my pelvic floor have to do with my heart?" Well, everything. Let me explain why. You see, when we look at the human body from a Chinese medicine perspective, we look at meridians or energy pathways that flow throughout our entire body. And there is one meridian that flows through our body that is responsible for controlling all of the valves of our heart. Now, this same meridian starts all the way up here at the neck and goes all the way down to the tailbone. This meridian, or this energy pathway, as I like to think of it, is connected to our pelvic floor. So when we have a weak pelvic floor, that can affect the energy flowing through this pathway, which can then affect the valves of your heart. Now, you may be saying, "Doc, I don't really feel anything in my pelvic floor. It's not like I have pain down there." Well, the thing about the pelvic floor is that when it begins to weaken, you usually don't notice until it's pretty far gone. Because the pelvic floor supports your bladder. When it weakens, it causes your bladder to drop down a little bit lower. And so now your bladder is putting more pressure on that sphincter, making it harder for you to hold your urine. You may find yourself having to pee more often during the day than before. Or you may find yourself waking up at night to urinate. And again, the further this condition progresses, the more severe these symptoms will become. But if you catch it early enough, you can definitely reverse it before any damage is done. Now, you may be saying, "Doc, I definitely have that problem. I gotta run to the bathroom all the time. What can I do about it?" Well, there are 3 things you can do to fix this problem. But first, I need you to understand something. Our pelvic floor is attached to our deep core, and our deep core extends all the way from your rib cage down to your tailbone, wrapping around your spine like a corset. And when we strengthen our deep core, it supports the pelvic floor. So the 3 things you can do to help support your pelvic floor is #1, strengthen your deep core. No. 2, reduce stress. And #3, improve your posture. So let's take a look at each one of these. First, strengthening the deep core. When we look at the muscles of the deep core, we're looking at the transverse abdominis, the internal obliques, the rectus abdominis, the pelvic floor muscles, the diaphragm, and the multifidus. Out of all of these muscles, the most important muscle to strengthen is the transverse abdominis, because it acts like a weight belt going around your entire body, stabilizing everything in the center. So what I want you to do is strengthen your transverse abdominis by doing a partial crunch. Okay? Now I know you're gonna tell me, "Doc, crunches are bad for you." You always hear that. But when we do partial crunches, we're only contracting the upper abs, okay? We're not arching the lower back and stressing the discs. So what you're gonna do is lie down on the ground on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the ground, hands behind your head. And instead of doing a full crunch and arching your back, you're gonna contract your abs partially, just off the ground enough to feel the contraction in your transverse abdominis. Hold that contraction for 5 seconds and slowly come back down. Now start at the top. Hold that contraction for 5 seconds and slowly come back down. You're going to repeat this process for 10 repetitions, 3 sets, twice a day. So that's the first thing you need to do to strengthen your deep core. #2, you need to learn how to relax your body under stress. Did you know that the most common cause of a weak pelvic floor is chronic stress? When we are stressed, we tense up all of the muscles in our body, including the pelvic floor. This chronic state of stress keeps the pelvic floor in a constant state of contraction, eventually leading to fatigue and dysfunction. To help you relax your body under stress, you need to learn how to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as rest and digest. When we breathe, we have two types of breathing, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fast, shallow breathing, whereas parasympathetic is slow, deep breathing. So what you need to do is begin to incorporate what's called box breathing into your daily routine. Box breathing is 4 seconds in, 6 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, and 6 seconds hold. You're going to repeat this process for 5 minutes, 3 times a day. And the third thing you need to do is improve your posture. Most people don't realize how poor posture can affect the entire body. If you have forward head posture, for example, you are putting extra strain on your pelvic floor. So what you need to do is strengthen the muscles that pull your head and neck backwards. The main muscles you need to strengthen are the upper traps and the levator scapulae. To strengthen these muscles, you're going to bend your elbow and put your hand behind your back and reach as far as you can, keeping your shoulder pulled down and away from your ear. Hold this position for 10 counts and repeat 3 times on each side. Do this 3 sets, twice a day. Now, it's very important that you know if you already have a heart condition, such as congestive heart failure, coronary artery disease, or you have had a previous heart attack, you should consult with your doctor before implementing any of these exercises. In addition to fixing your sleeping position and doing the 3 exercises I just showed you, there are 2 more things you need to do to completely fix your weak pelvic floor. The first thing you need to do is cut out sugar, because sugar weakens the pelvic floor. And the second thing you need to do is start consuming foods that support collagen production, such as bone broth, because a weak pelvic floor is a result of collagen loss. And by the way, if you're enjoying my content, which I hope you are, and you're applying this knowledge to your health, and you have a success, I would really appreciate you sharing your success story. So share your success story to help inspire others. Now, I'd like to share with you a very important concept that you must understand in order to fully grasp why fixing your sleeping position is so important for heart health. When we are young, we are mostly horizontal when we sleep. As we get older, we tend to sleep more upright. And when we are elderly, we usually sleep at a 45-degree angle. And when we sleep in this position, it puts our hearts at a disadvantage because gravity pulls all of the blood down to our feet. This makes it harder for the heart to pump blood back up to the upper body. To compensate for this, the heart has to work harder, which can lead to heart failure over time. Now, you may be saying, Doc, I don't have heart failure. How can I prevent that? Well, if you want to keep your heart healthy as you age, you need to maintain a healthy sleeping position. This means you need to avoid sleeping flat on your back, especially as you get older. As we age, we lose collagen in our body, and this includes the valves of our heart. When we lose collagen, the valves become thinner and weaker. And when you sleep flat on your back, gravity pulls on the heart, causing the valves to stretch and become damaged. Over time, this can lead to valve disease. So if you want to prevent valve disease, you need to avoid sleeping flat on your back. So what position should you sleep in? Well, the best position to sleep in is on your right side, because this allows gravity to help drain the blood from the heart. This puts less strain on the heart, allowing it to rest and repair itself. The second best position is to sleep on your left side, but you should only sleep on your left side if you are pregnant. The third best position is to sleep on your stomach. However, if you suffer from acid reflux, you need to avoid sleeping on your stomach, because this can worsen your symptoms. There are many other factors that can contribute to valve disease, and if you want to learn more about them, you need to subscribe to watch our next video.